Sports Talk 790, Houston's new sports talk leader, leading the charge for the Houston sports fan.
As you can see now let me ask you, another thing I really like is that you've never compromised who you are and what you are. Have you ever felt pressure to compromise at all as the sport has gotten bigger?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, just tame Dana White, to pull Dana White back, or are we seeing a more tame Dana White? I don't think we are.
I don't know. I don't ever think that way. I just, I am who I am. I do what I do. I guess the tame side would be swearing, and we're all adults. I mean, we've heard it all before. I just don't think that, the fact that I'm honest in my answers and the things that I say, whether, if we have a fight that sucks, I'll say we had a fight that sucked. If I say the F word or this or that every once in a while, we're all grown-ups. Listen, if you can't deal with that, I mean, we got bigger problems than whether I say fuck or not.
Right. How did you ever envision, I remember having you on the air to promote The Ultimate Fighter 1. Did you ever think that show would take off the way that it has and more importantly, be a breeding ground for legitimate fighters the way it has? Because that surprised me.
You hope so. When you put together a show like that, the thing that I love about The Ultimate Fighter and what I think has made it so successful, which by the way is one of the top 10 longest running reality shows in history. Yeah.
When did it start?
We started back in 2006. We're going on season 15 right now, and I think we're number 5 or number 6 in the all-time longest running. So what it's become is this place. It's the most relevant show on TV other than American Idol. When you watch a bunch of these other reality shows, they get a bunch of goofballs together in a house or however they do it, and then once it's over, these guys go away. You follow this show, you invest in these characters and in these athletes, and one guy moves on after he wins, and 4 or 5 guys from every season move on to Ultimate Fight Night. You can follow them through their entire career. So it really is relevant and makes a lot of sense.
Because you came from boxing, because you understand where boxing failed, the ability to give people free fights that are good fights, was that one of the things that was first and foremost of your strategy of running UFC?
Yeah, it was the most important thing in growing our strategy. I became a huge boxing fan because my uncles used to watch ABC's Wide World of Sports, and I used to see all the fights when I was a kid growing up. Then there was a show called USA's Tuesday Night Fights.
Sean O'Grady.
I didn't miss it. Every Tuesday night, exactly. And then what happened was when the pay model came out, all these promoters got greedy, and nobody would put free fights on TV anymore. And if they did, there were ones you didn't want to see anyway, or weren't promoted right. So what our philosophy was to put great free fights back on TV.
Let me throw this at you. Robert Quiroga, Kid Hakeem. You remember that fight? It was ESPN. The Kid Hakeem unfortunately passed, but it was those kind of fights. You would see these unbelievable fights on not just Tuesday Night Fights, but also ESPN, and all of a sudden, boom, it was gone.
Do you remember Troy Dorsey and Kevin Kelly?
I've got that on. Hey, absolutely, I got that on.
That fight had me jumping up and down on my couch. I was going crazy. I mean, those were the kind of fights you saw in USA's Tuesday Night Fights, and that's when boxing couldn't have been bigger.
It was unbelievable. Last question, Dana. Do you see, one of the things you're starting to see is better, even more incredible athletes who are starting to get into the sport at a younger age. Talk about some of the athletes from that might have migrated to other sports in the 90s who are now going to be coming up through the ranks in your sport and how that's going to help with the growth.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it early on, and we're starting to see it more and more. I mean, Kenny Florian was a great soccer player. John Jones, both his brothers are football players. This guy could have done anything. Jose Aldo, this kid was a real good soccer player too. I mean, you're going to see a lot of these guys that would have played other sports migrating to mixed martial arts instead.
Dana, thanks for your time. We'll see you when you get